We're out on our range today, and this particular range is semi-close to a highway. However, we will do all of our shooting in a safe direction. Just bear with any background noise you hear. Now, that being said, I have had a number of people contacting me about my recent video reviews I have done in caliber 9x18 Makarov. And in a number of those comments, people have said to me, you know, you can shoot 380 ACP in your 9x18 Makarov pistol. So I thought I would put that to the test. Now, you might be asking the question, why would anyone want to shoot 380 in their 9x18 Makarov? And good question. Number one is because 9x18 Makarov is a relatively uncommon cartridge here in the United States. And given current events, there has been far less importation of this ammo. The second reason is that defensive ammunition in 9x18 Makarov is fairly hard to come by. I have tested on a previous occasion 9x18 Makarov with an FTX projectile, like a ballistic tip, and it has had very interesting results. While the ammunition performed well enough, it was not reliable in my particular handgun. And I have heard a number of people say that Hornady Critical Defense 9x18 was not reliable in their particular handgun. So I have some 380 ACP ammos to test today, including Spear Gold Dot 90 grain jacketed hollow point ammunition, and Hornady Critical Defense 380 ACP 90 grain FTX projectiles, like a ballistic tip. But before we get into accuracy, we're going to start with some tedious chronograph testing. I leave in the chronograph segment because so many people ask me to. However, if you want to, you can skip to the part where I'm standing next to the chart with numbers on it. Okay, since you're still here, first I'm going to get a basis of comparison by testing Silver Bear 94 grain full metal jacket round nose ammunition. $9.89. $1,021. $1,027. $1,021. $1,015. $1,018. $1,026. $989. Let's move on to the next ammo. Next I have Hornady Critical Defense 9mm Makarov with a 95 grain FTX projectile, like a ballistic tip. $982. Error. $980. $974. $984. $972. $958. All right, let's move on to our next ammunition. For our next ammunition, we have Arms Corps 380 Auto 95 grain full metal jacket round nose. $782. $811. $808. $808. $776. $799. $771. And $821. Let's test our next ammunition. Next we have Hornady Critical Defense in caliber 380 ACP. This is a 90 grain FTX projectile, like a ballistic tip. $751. 758, 775, 782, 774, 769, 769, 782, 770, 776. Let's shoot our final ammunition. Our final ammunition is Speer Gold Dot 380 ACP 90 grain jacketed hollow point. This is Speer Gold Dot LE. Basically, it's the same Speer Gold Dot you buy in the store, but I ordered this online, so it comes in the law enforcement packaging. Let's shoot this ammunition through the Makarov. .862, 843, 813, 833, 806, 835, duplicate 835, 832, and finally 807. Let's go crunch the numbers. And on that last round, we had a malfunction. Well, I've crunched the numbers, and it comes with the normal caveats that chronographs don't always agree with each other, and certain environmental factors such as ambient temperature and elevation can affect chronograph results. But with the Silver Bear full metal jacket ammunition, I got an average velocity of 1,013 feet per second, and with the 9x18 critical defense ammunition, I got an average velocity of 975 feet per second. These results are about what we would expect. However, with the 380 ammunition, the Hornady critical defense 380 gave us an average velocity of only 771 feet per second. And the Speer Gold Dot ammunition gave us an average velocity of only 830 feet per second. Well, the Full Metal Jacket 9x17 380 ammunition gave us an average velocity of 395 feet per second. These results are significantly lower than I expected them to be, especially since we were shooting them out of a normal 380. Yes, they would be lower than their 9x18 counterparts. However, they would be much, much closer. Part of what is happening here is that 9x18 Makarov is actually a 9.2 millimeter bullet, and 380 ACP is a true 9 millimeter bullet. So the bullets are significantly smaller. Now, the next question that we would have is, with these smaller bullets and it seemingly not engaging the rifling as well, will the accuracy suffer between these projectiles? Let's put that to the test. I have some paper targets set up, so I'm going to step back 15 yards and shoot the target on your left with the Silver Bear 9x18 Makarov ammunition, and the target on your right with the Hornady Critical Defense 9mm Makarov ammunition. Well, I fired 10 shots for both of these groups, and you'll notice that both of them were really high. I think that one of the rounds of the Silver Bear ammunition even went off the target, over the top. However, these were our two groups, in no particular order: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, this is a pretty decent group. In fact, I can cover it with just my fingers. However, you'll notice that it is several inches high on the target. And the pistol I'm shooting today doesn't have adjustable sights, so I'd really struggle to use this as a defensive ammunition. Plus, you may have noticed there was a pause in the middle of my group. That's because this pistol had a malfunction with this ammunition. Now, this pistol has been very reliable for me with full metal jacket ammunition, but I've had a hard time finding a hollow point ammo that both performs well and is reliable. With this group, you'll notice that there's a pretty good group right here, and then there's two flyers. I'm not sure about this one, but I know this one is just me, and yes, that is very annoying. Now, I'm going to replace this target, and then we'll shoot the 380 ammunition. So from left to right, I'm going to start with the Arms Corps FMJ ammunition, then the Hornady Critical Defense, and finally the Spear Gold Dot. Well, we have some interesting, though not very surprising, results. You'll notice that with our FMJ ammunition, as well as our Critical Defense and Spear Gold Dot, some of these projectiles have elongated holes. What that means is that the rifling is not engaging the bullet enough to keep it stabilized or spinning straight, so it's tumbling through the air. That means two things. One, you suffer accuracy and velocity. That's why our velocities were so low, and that's why our accuracies are all over the place. The other thing that means is that these defensive ammos are not even worth shooting at the meat target because they are tumbling through the air, so they aren't going to expand at all. I also wanted to show you a close-up of some of the casings. This is one of the 9mm Makarov casings, and you'll notice that it's still a straight wall. There's no issues there. However, with two of our 380 casings, this is an Arms Corps case, and this is a Critical Defense case with 380. Both of them have this bulge on the one side because of that issue of 9.2 millimeters versus a standard 9mm. Off camera, while firing the Arms Corps ammunition, I did have a malfunction. When I pulled the trigger, the round did not go off. However, given that it's a hammer action pistol, I cocked the hammer, pulled the trigger again, and then it did go off the second time. Now, probably what happened is that with the 9x17 round in the 9x18 chamber, there's a little bit of back and forth play with the case, and so the case was just far enough forward that it could hit the primer, but it could not make it go off. However, when I fired it the second time, that time it did actually go off. First, if you were going to shoot it in a training situation, I would recommend not doing that, because the round will be tumbling, and as you saw, the cases were bulging when you were shooting it. That can be a sign of many issues, and even though I did not damage my pistol today, you could damage your pistol over time. And in a defensive situation, you have the exact same problem. It is going to be tumbling through the air, so you won't have expansion, and it could damage your pistol. Now, I have an anecdote. There are a number of people who have old .38 special revolvers like this Smith & Wesson Model 36J frame. this Smith & Wesson Model 36 is perfectly safe with most 38 Special ammunition. However, when this pistol was made, 38 Special plus P wasn't really around. So, most people recommend that you do not shoot 38 Special plus P ammunition in this revolver that just says 38 Smith & Wesson ammo. So, if you have a revolver like this, can you shoot plus P ammunition? One time, when I was in a local gun store, a man said to me, shoot 38 Special plus P ammunition in it. Once you make sure it works, you don't need to shoot any more unless you are in a defensive situation. And I quote, even if the gun blows up, it will be more surprising to the other guy than it will be to you. In my opinion, that is some of the worst advice I have ever heard related to firearms. Because if I am in a self-defense situation and I am shooting my pistol and it blows up in my hand, well, that might destroy my hands. That might do a lot of damage to me personally as the shooter. And even if I hit the other guy, I will still be very badly hurt. And if I don't hit the other guy, I will be more hurt by my weapon than he is. I would not recommend shooting 380 ACP ammunition in your 9x18 Makarov. As always, don't try this at home on what you call a professional, and thank you for watching the 380 in a 9x18 Makarov video. Hi, you've gotten to the boring part of the video where all I'm going to do is talk. So you're going to have to put up with my Shatner-esque pauses and my annoying habit of transposing words and syllables. Now, I know I'm not Paul, but I do have some Shatner-esque pauses and an annoying habit of transposing words and syllables when I talk. And I'm going to do this kind of off the cuff because I thought this would be better as a heartfelt thing than a pre-scripted, multiple posed, cut together type of thing. So, this is my A1 pattern rifle. Yes, I know it has A2 handguards, but it is an A1 pattern rifle. And when I was putting this together, when I first got interested in rifles like this one, rather than ones that had cool M-lock, free-floated, full-length handguards and flat tops and red dots and all that kind of stuff, there wasn't much on the topic. Now, these rifles are kind of all the new hotness and they're all the rage, but back when I was really putting this together, when I was really interested, there were one or two videos and a whole lot from Paul. That's, I think, how I found Paul's channel a while ago. And Paul Harrell's channel and content have meant a lot to me. Particularly, some of the things that stood out to me was a lot of this space, as you know, is hyper-inflated with people who will go on and yammer about all of their credentials and all of the experience that they have, and how if you don't have this thing or that thing, and if you can't do this or that, you're going to get killed. And then I found Paul, and he was a relatively humble guy who, on occasion, will show you all of the medals that he has won from different competitions, but he's never doing that to show off. Instead, he's doing it to show that he does know what he is talking about. So he's somebody who knows what he is talking about, but at the same time, he's humble about it. And that really stood out to me. I really appreciated the plain Jane approach to most of his videos. When he did do high-speed, running and gunning type of stuff, he did it as a joke, and he did it in a lighthearted way. I just really appreciated the videos that he made along the way. And making this video today, I feel like I started to appreciate the content that he made more and more. I've really tried to model what I do, not in the format necessarily, but just in the care that goes into what I do, off of the content that he does. So today I've been wearing this jacket. For my honeymoon, I went to Oregon, and while I was there, I found this vintage shooting jacket that I really felt fit the vibe, so I of course had to pick it up. And I'm doing this after I filmed everything else for the day. And I didn't realize that in Paul's video, when he shoots the watermelon in his intro, he's using a Glock in 9x19, and mine is in 45 ACP. This is a Glock 30S, and 45 ACP loaded with Federal HSTs makes the watermelon go boom a little bit more than 9x19 in, well, whatever he was shooting his with. So I'm really sticky now from shooting that watermelon. So I just really learned to appreciate all of the work that Paul puts into his videos. Especially just trying to get the average person, people like us, into the shooting world. So that if somebody comes in and they know absolutely nothing, they have an hour-long Paul Harrell video explaining every single yeah but and disclaimer and, the whatever else that they might be thinking, Paul has a video on it. So his content has meant a whole lot to me, and that was kind of why I made this video today. So I don't know if he's going to see this. I really hope he does. If you have a way to get this to him, please help me pass it along. All of that being said, I am not Paul Harrell. I am 8mm Mauser Man, but I made a video in Paul Harrell's style. But I lived on. You be the judge. That was way more explosion than I expected. Keep the change, you filthy animal.